Hello and welcome to Ask the Hair Doctor. I'm trichologist Lisa Akbari, and for the next 60 minutes and beyond, it's up to you. I'm going to be your hair doctor. As you know, I'm here live each and every week, here just for you. So today, I'm really, as always, excited about today's show. So I know you guys are just logging in, and I'm excited because you're ready, and I am ready. It is a beautiful day. It's the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I've got my sunglasses on, but I'm going to be smart today, and I'm going to start like I'm supposed to and go on and take my hair down. We're going to talk about some great things today. I mean, we're going to talk about hairline thinning and should you color in your hairline? Is it safe? What does it do? What is safe? What's not safe? We're going to also talk about what's the other topics? I have to get them and look. Okay, quick. Think. We're going to talk about split ends. To trim or not to trim? That is the question. And really, can we prevent split ends? What is it we can do about split ends? We've got those topics today. This is pretty cool. And we're going to talk about something else is really, really exciting that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about heat damage. Oh my goodness, that's right. We always have to talk about heat damage, but there were some articles written about heat damage. You know, we're always talking about heat damage, but there were some articles written about heat damage, and there's supposed to be some ways to fix it. We want to talk about preventing heat damage. How does it happen? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? So, welcome to the show. I'm trichologist Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor, and we have three main things we're going to talk about. But my chat room is going to be open. Even though we're going to talk about heat damage, we're going to talk about split ends, we're going to talk about your hairline and seeing how you can, if you are some of those who have thinned out your hairline, how can you cover that hairline with a cover stick? Or is it even safe to do a color stick? Okay, but first, as you always know, I'm going to take my hair down. And so while I'm going to look and see how my chat room is open, if it's not, or if you guys are still logging in. I see some of you coming on. And so that's great. Thank you. Welcome to the show. And also, if you're tuning in on the radio, just hey, welcome. I love you guys. You can email me, lisa@lisaakbari.com, if you want to email me. We're going to start opening those phone lines pretty soon, guys, because I'm really excited about the phone lines being open. And I'm going to have a number you can call. And I'm going to have it right here where you can call me and we can talk. And that'll be so cool. And you can ask a question. But, of course, as you know, my chat room is always open. Hairline thinning, split ends, and heat damage. Okay. All right. So let's get started. I'm going to start with taking my hair down. Got one little scrunchie here. You know, I'm always having these little trusty scrunchies. And I want to show you guys, because I like to have the larger scrunchies where it's like a big headband. So if I want to put it on the headband, I can put it on my head as a headband. Or if I want to put it on and I kind of double it up, I can make it a scrunchie, which is good. And the fabric is just nylon, and it's a ribbon. And I always like to let the little pieces fall away so you can see, like, they separate. They're just pieces of ribbon, and they're nylon, and they're smooth. They're very hair friendly. It's an elastic, kind of a stretchy thread, but it's not where the rubber will, any kind of rubber will touch. It's kind of a nice stretchy thread, which is great. So it's really hair friendly. So I recommend these. You can find them usually at any beauty supply store. I think even some of the your big box stores actually sell them. So, okay. So now you have my hair pulled off of my scrunchie. Here's my scrunchie. And let's just see what it's doing under there. Let's see if we can stretch it out into a fro. I kind of wanted my collar pop today. So if I do, I have to put it back up in my little afro puff. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll just move it down a little bit. And I just want you to see how you can stretch out your fro if you, and you can see how it just almost straightened the hair out a little bit. But I can do that, and I'm just going to I can do that because I've put my moisturizer on. You can go on my website, lisaakbari.com, and you can see my Moisture Plus. And I'm going to take my fingers and go under. I'm not going to yank. I'm just going to separate. And I'm going to separate the hairs and then slide down. Separate the hairs. And if you're on the radio and you're not tuning in on my YouTube page, please subscribe to my YouTube page so you can get alerts whenever I'm doing any kind of videos. A bunch of folks kind of jumped on there. So we want to make sure that you are aware that I'm doing different videos, and these videos are for you. I said last week, I said that I just thank God for the opportunity to be here, but I also thank God for you guys, because when I see the numbers there and the people signing in and logging in and saying, hey, I want to watch you, and in the chats and all the emails, I'm pretty thankful for that, because I'm thankful that you are allowing me to pour into you. Okay. And so I wanted to say that. Okay. So now I have the fro. Yay. And I just kind of stretched it out because I put my moisturizer on it. Moisture Plus moisturizer. And I put my headband. So what I'm going to do is going to put that back on and make my fro, my afro puff, because I remember, guys, I wanted to pop my collar today. I just like popping my collar. And then I'm going to do a kind of a, not a faux hawk. I'm just going to do a big fluffy afro puff. So, you know, your stretch you can do with those little headbands. You can do what you want to do. But you know how I love to pop my collar. If you've been listening to me or tuning in at any point, you'll know. The other thing I'm going to do today that's going to be really different, because sometimes you'll see me doing this and I'm squinting at the camera. I have to have readers. My doctor said, you don't need glasses, you just need readers. I'm like, what is that? I'm too young for that. Okay, here we go. Readers. And it's got a few little rhinestones on them. I was looking at one of my favorite talk show hosts. What is her name? Joy. AM Joy. And she has, I think, allergies or something. And she had to put glasses on because she was wearing contacts. And poor Joy was like this, squinting. So she put glasses on. So I said, if Joy can put glasses on, I can put my readers on. Okay. AM Joy. She's always great. She's on MSNBC. She has AM Joy on Saturdays and Sundays. So that's a little plug for you, AM Joy. Okay. So let's get right down to the show. Welcome to the show. I'm going to put my readers on. And they don't look so bad, guys, right? Am I cute or what? Okay. All right. I got to have them. That's it, because I don't want to do this. It looks like I'm squinting at the mirror, at the screen. All right. So today we're going to talk about split ends. We're going to talk about heat damage. We're going to talk about coloring that hairline. Folks who have thinned out their hairline and they don't have hairlines, and we're going to talk about how is it safe to color your hairline. Okay, there's just so many articles written about these things, so I don't have to squint because I just want to get to my little outline to make sure that I'm staying in line with it. What do we want to start with today? Let's see what we want. Let's get our first little start here. Yay, all right. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, I'm trichologist Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor. And and another thing I want to talk about is gorgeous. There's supposed to be like 15. Elle magazine did something in our celebrity piece. I wanted to talk about the gorgeous hairstyles. Elle magazine did something on gorgeous hairstyles for women. Let's go back. And 15. They chose like 15 styles. And let's see where we are. Here we go. And so I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. But I wanted to take a look and see what they're talking about. See what they're, and then the thing that was really great about this whole 15 gorgeous hairstyles was they were natural. They were talking about 15 natural gorgeous hairstyles. And they use celebrities, of course. So we're going to put this in our celebrity news. And then I want to, or celebrity hair. And then I want to kind of talk about these styles and how you get these styles. Whoever was wearing them is irrelevant. But one of the styles that I noticed was these frizzy froze, and that's one of my favorite frizzy froze. In order to get a frizzy fro, the best way to do this is to allow the cuticle to obtain moisture. And if you allow the cuticle to obtain moisture, is going to lift the hair and cause it to frizz without damage. So this is what you do. I have products, one called hair vitamins, because you always have to have your foundation there. Because even if you say, well, okay, I'm going to do a frizzy fro, you have to make sure that you have a healthy frizzy fro. You don't want a frizzy fro, because sometimes when people have frizzy hair, they tend to break it. They tend to have problems with the hair breaking because they're now trying to tease it or comb it or do these things to make it frizzy. Well, you don't have to do those things to it, because let me make sure I mute myself
hair breaking
out here.
because they're now trying.
There we go. Nope, I didn't want to do that. Okay. All right, so they're now breaking their hair because they're teasing at it, and they're like, okay, let's just do it and tease and use a comb and put mousse on it and get it big and frizzy. You don't have to do that. Okay, all you have to do is make sure that you have a healthy product, like a healthy, soft look, and allow moisture to get under the cuticle. If you get moisture under the cuticle, the hair is going to frizz on its own if you have natural hair. So I'm looking at these 15 gorgeous hairstyles that Elle is saying, and they're saying that, okay, this is 15 gorgeous styles and they're natural and it's beautiful. But the big one that I'm seeing is the frizzy fro. So let me tell you how to get the frizzy fro and be safe. Okay, the frizzy fro, and I'm happy to see it because I wear frizzy fro a lot. I love frizzy hair. The frizzy fro, you take one of the things, you got to shampoo. You definitely have to condition. Have to have a good foundation. Once you shampoo and condition your hair, you want to get under dry with your conditioner, deep condition, and you can email me about those steps. Then you want to put a towel over your head, towel block. Now, some people are concerned about using cotton towels. They're okay because you are trying to absorb the moisture. So they're okay. But you want to just put them on your head, wrap them on your head, finish drying off your body, and then unwrap them. And that will be enough of the moisture without, like the wetness, without dehydrating your hair or roughing up your cuticle. Okay, so you've done that. Now you're ready to put on your hair products. You start on the ends using one of my products called hair vitamins. And I think I have a bottle right here. I do. I'm in my studio here, so I have some. I always keep a lot of my products around me when I'm in my studio. And how rude of me, my cell phone is ringing. Okay, so make sure the sound is off on both of those. Okay, and I think it's my daughter. Love you, baby. I'm on my show. I will call you back. Okay, I'm just going to tell her on my show, can't talk. So that way she won't worry about me. I have twins, guys, you know, right? Isn't that beautiful? Double sweetness, double blessings. Okay, all right, so now. So first you start off with the hair vitamins, and let's get back to the screen so I can see, make sure I've got the hair vitamins up here correctly. Oopsie. There I am. And here we go. My product called hair vitamin. It's number 3. It's the third conditioner. Like if you shampoos, you use a leave-in deep conditioning. I like my readers. Deep conditioning and then hair vitamins. So you spray the hair vitamins. You start with the ends. And I'm going to kind of, because I have a frizzy fro, but it's kind of packed in there. So you start with the ends. You spray the ends. And the reason you have to spray the ends because you got to make sure that you get product in those ends. And we're going to talk more about this when we talk about split ends. So you see what I'm doing? It's called working your product in. And if you can't see me, go to my YouTube page and you'll see me live now, or you'll be able to see it archived. So you work the product in. So now you begin to get like a little wave. So you let that in, and then you take it and you fluff it up like that. And then you let it dry. Now, the thing to prevent frizz is to not fluff your hair during the crucial drying stage. But if you want to create a frizzy fro, you want to fluff it while it's drying, but you got to have 2 products. The second one you have to have is called hydration. hydration. Now, the reason why I'm putting products on at all is because products are important to protect and preserve your hair, right? Yay. Okay, so now I'm going to use my hydration. Both of these are on my website, on my store. Smells so good. And my hair vitamins smell good too. I always like to do that because it's so important to women. We have good smelling product. And men too, but they are nice and clean. I probably got a little bit too much, but okay, I'm going to put it on. Always, again, your ends and your smoothing. And what am I doing? If I slow it down, it's finger and thumb. Or it's fingers and thumb. Why do you do that? Because you want to work the product into your hair. Okay, so I'm going to go on and take my hairband off since I got so much product on. And I'm going to take it. And then at that point, because it's on the ends, now your ends can be released easy. You're not playing, you know how y'all do, y'all tug of war with your ends? Well, you don't have to do that. So then now I'm going to be able to separate, and I'll have to stretch my hair out my ends and tear them, because when you do that, you're creating these microscopic tears, and when you create these microscopic tears, you have poor elasticity and your hair breaks. So we're going to talk about this Frizzy Fro 15 gorgeous hairstyles. We're going to talk about thinning hairline and how can you cover up. We're going to talk about split ends, and we're going to talk about heat damage. Okay, so smooth, 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 open up, you're done. Okay, so now you've done that, you're here. And you know what, guys? I'm going to go throughout my head, and I'm going to put these products on because this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you just how you apply to get this Frizzy Fro. So we're doing the ends, always the ends first, and your fingers and thumb. You try to get this. Now, I did separate my hair because I had already started to hydrate my hair today, but you always want to try to do the ends first before you separate your hair. So ends. See, it's kind of elongated. See, my hair is actually getting longer. Okay, and then let's do more hair vitamins. Ends in the top, ends. And this is going to be quick, guys, but I know that some of you are listening on the radio, so you can hear me. But what we're doing is we're putting on the ends, and then we're going to take the hydration next, and we're putting those on these ends as well. And you can see I do things quickly. I know we always talk about even distribution and product placement, but let's just do half of the head. Okay, since I've got this side, we're going to do just my left side of the head so we can actually go on to the rest of the show, because I realize this will take up a lot of the show and some of you can't even see me. So what you do after you finish that, you take the hair and you just fluff it up. Take it and you just keep touching it the whole time it's drying. And as you touch it and fluff it the whole time it's drying, what you're going to have is the cuticle sitting up. And then it is going to, and I did this with this side, so you can see this is already a little frizzy. You'll have some definition, but for the most part, it will kind of sit up and the hair will frizz. The other thing you could do is take like a blow dryer. I think this one's on. Nope, it's not. Let's see if I can plug it up. And if we plug this up, you won't be able to hear me as well, but you will know what I'm doing. So I'm going to take this and plug this blow dryer up. Let's see if I can. Okay. Owie. On. Yes. And so when I pull this blow dryer, what I'm trying to do is actually allow the moisture to get on the hair, not the moisture, but the moisture to dry in the hair in a what I call an uncontrolled manner. In other words, when you normally would have your, for some reason these are blow dryer's not coming on, but because this was not a planned piece. Y'all remember that? This was not planned. So my blow dryer is not working right now. I don't know why. Love my blow dryer. I love the tool. If you ever want to know about heated tools, the Science tools, I love their blow dryer. I love their flat irons only because I can control the heat. You know, with me, and we're going to talk about heat damage today, it's all about controlling the heat. But for some reason, this has popped out and I can't get it to, you know how sometimes it'll just get too warm. And the cool thing about this one, it'll cut off when it gets too warm. But I can't get it to work. But anyway, you can do it with your hand. You can do it with, like, if I'm going to take this manila folder and use it. And you can fan, as long as you can get air on your hair as it's drying. Like, or you know what? You could go outside and you could get in a convertible. Some of you, if you have one, then you can let your hair dry in the wind. But the main thing, you could take a air dry it with a blow dryer and fan dry it, and that'll get the frizz. So we're gonna let this sit. We're just gonna every now and then fluff as we talk about the other things like split ends, and as we talk about, oh my goodness, we have so much to talk about today. Split ends, thinning hairline, and as we talk about what else was it? Heat damage. Oh, we're going to let my hair just kind of dry like that. Okay, now let's go to, and we were talking about these 15 gorgeous hairstyles, and one of them was the frizzy hair, but I'm going to make that last because I did promise you, and I know some of you are logging in just to hear these other things about the hair. Like, let's start with heat damage because that's a big, so you fried your hair. Okay. You fried your hair, and then this is really what we're going to just call it. I mean, I'm not trying to poke at you or be funny, but in essence, you fried your hair. You got a little crazy with the flat iron. Yeah, because we want straight hair. Okay, some of you want the straight hair. You fried your hair. You got crazy with the flat iron, curling iron, pressing comb. Now, or, you know, sometimes we just sit out in the sun too long. You know, it's just one of those things. We go to the beach, we sit out in the sun, and we really fry our hair, especially for those of us who have color. Then we end up with that drying hair. We have relaxed hair, whether we have natural or relaxed. We have relaxed hair. We're sitting out in the sun. We're using heated tools. Now our hair feels like straw when you wet it. You're wondering what happened. Also, if you have natural hair, then you look around and you say, well, you know what? My hair is no longer curling back up. Well, that's called heat damage. Okay. One of the options, you could cut it away. And we talk about split ends and all of that. You could cut it away. You could cut all the thin hair away. But the other thing is, if you say, well, you know, I'm really trying to get length, so I don't want to cut my hair. So in order to not have to cut your hair away, then you have to treat it. So we're going to talk about that, but I want to talk about how did I get heat damage in the first place? How did I fry my hair? And especially with these heated tools, let's look at the heated tool. Heated tool is going to respond to your hair, respond to that heated tool based on tact. Now, it's going to be texture, depending on the size of your strand. Fine hair, medium hair, coarse hair. So that's your texture. Texture deals with the size. Then from there, it's going to be based on the match of size of hair, texture, and temperature of the heated tool. Those two, they have to match perfectly. What do I mean? Because you hear people all the time say, I only flat iron or press or whatever, straighten my hair once every month or twice a year, or when I get my ends trimmed. Well, that is never, let me tell you guys, and put this, bank this, put a pin in it, put it in your reference. It's never how often you use a heated tool, it's what happens on contact. Remember, it's never how often, it's what happens on contact. That means it depends on how your strand responds to that heat. Now, basics. Let's get some foundational things. Number one, you never ever use a heated tool on dirty hair. No touch-ups, ladies, no touch-ups. You never ever use heated tools on dirty hair. Number two, you make sure that your strand is hydrated. And that means you don't do dried out, dehydrated hair using a heated tool. And that's something we have to say, because a lot of people do that because they want body. They don't want their hair to be limp with product. So they want body. So they'll use things, they won't put the hydrating products they need. Well, they're wonderful products. We have one called Cool Down. Your hair will not be limp, but it will protect. It'll keep your hair cooler. Now, so no dry hair and no dirty hair. Number two, let's get to the how we got heat damage in the first place. How did we fry our hair? What do we do now? How do we fix this problem? Number one, if you have fried your hair or burned your hair or heat damage, and it's caused so many things, you have not matched your texture and your heat. Now, what do I mean by that is you have to match that. Your strand, your hair strand will have to be whatever size the strand is, whatever size your strand is. Let me make sure that I'm not looking too cuckoo pachuku because I'm letting this one side frizz up. Whatever size your strand is, okay, that has to match with how hot the temperature is. So let's start. You have three basic hair textures. Three basic. You have fine, medium, and coarse. Texture deals with the size of your strand. I'm going to keep fluffing. Texture deals with the size of your strand. Now, if your strand is fine, then if you have a texture change, it's going to go out of what is considered as true texture and go into false texture, and that will be thin. Then it's not a texture, then is a form of damage. Then here, now, whether it's thinning, because, let me back up a little bit so you can see my fro, whether it's thinning because you have you have damaged it, or it's thinning because you're suffering from some type of pattern baldness. The bottom line is the strand itself, if it's thin, it's out of texture. Okay, so now let's move back. Let's move back to texture. Fine textured hair is going to have only a temperature that's around 150 degrees. That's all you need. So you've got to get a heated tool that has the digital dial on it so it can tell you how hot it is. Set it to 150 degrees and your fine hair will straighten out. If you do not set it to 150 degrees, your fine hair is probably going to burn and you're going to have heat damage. So if you have natural kinky hair, you'll start having those little strands that are thinner, straight, or they'll be straight. So let's get this because I am so not able to. There we go. I can't seem to get there it is. My hair, my fro is like wop. And one of the reasons is because it's just too long to stand up. Okay, and I'm going to do that. All right, so if you could do 150 degrees, then you're going to be safe with fine hair. The next texture of hair is medium. If you set your dial, and you have to have digital curl and iron, digital heat, you want to have digital control so you can read that dial. Digital heat on your pressing combs, look for one. If not, stop using them. Digital heat on your curling irons, digital heat on your blow dryers. Look and research, and I'm sure somebody's made one. It may cost you a little more, but it's worth it so you don't lose your hair. So with fine hair, we want to 150 degrees. Medium hair, see, I don't normally wear, these are readers. Y'all like my readers? You have to tell me. Okay, digital hair, medium hair, you want to stay around 300 degrees. 300. That's medium. Coarse hair, you can go up to 400, 450. That's it. If you stay within that range on contact, when you use that heated tool, number one, your hair will straighten. It will straighten. Number two, it won't burn. Because what happens when you use a heated tool and you have this stylist and she does a lot of flat iron work, or you do flat iron and your friend has a heated tool and you borrow it or whatever, or you use a heated tool and you're putting this heated tool on and you're not checking the temperature and you're not looking at your hair texture, then you're going to have a problem with it overheating and it's going to melt down your cuticle. So you have something called a meltdown. So what happens is your cuticle layers begin to melt away. They get smaller and smaller. And then you melt away those cuticle layers, and then you go into your cortical fibers where your true texture is, the bulk hair is. Then it starts to melt down. Under the microscope, it looks like the hair has been carved in. And that's how I know when a patient has heat damage. I can look at the size of their strand with the naked eye, and I can look at the little straight ends, but I also can look at the actual hair and the microscope and see that they have the carvings. And that's what happens. So you now have people who with fine hair now have thin hair, people who normally would have medium hair have fine hair, and people who normally have coarse hair will have medium hair. Now, that's a problem. The other problem is when it goes all the way to thin from coarse. And the other problem is when you have coarse hair growing from your scalp, medium hair in the body of the shaft, and then fine hair almost at the ends and thin on the ends. So this develops something called short hair syndrome. So now you have heat damage here. How do we prevent this? Use several things. Number one, you have to know the texture of hair you have. Stop saying texture depends on how kinky my hair is or if my hair is straight or not. Texture doesn't deal with that. It deals with the size. So know the actual size of your strand. Know if you have multiple textured hair. So if you have fine hair, say in the crown, you have coarse hair in the back, you have, know the texture of your hair. Once you know the texture of your hair, then you have less chances of having heat damage. So you've got coarse hair, 400, 425, you're safe. Medium hair, 300, even 350, you're safe. Fine hair, around 150, you're safe. You go beyond that, you're going to have the meltdown and you're going to start thinning. Now, the other piece is you have to know the texture of your hair. That means the size. The next thing is you have to have clean, hydrated hair every time, not sometimes, every time you use the heated tool. Clean hair, hydrated hair. How do you have clean, hydrated hair? You have to shampoo it, use a clarifier, one with the pH of 4.5 to 5.5. You have to condition it. And my recommendation is deep conditioning, because when you deep condition, you have your moisture levels are higher, your hair is more balanced, protein and moisture. And then you have to use leave-in conditioners. I recommend our hair vitamin. I don't know if I have our cool down. Yeah, I do. I recommend our hair vitamin. And I also recommend our cool down. And I have a little tip on it. The cool down. It's all on my website. I recommend these products because they're going to protect the hair. Let's see if I cool down. Cool down is kind of like a liquid. It's really, really cool, but it has humectants in it and smells good. It has humectants in it, and the humectants will raise the moisture level, but they won't make your hair heavy or greasy. So when you touch the hair, I have some moisturizer on my hair, but when you touch the hair, you won't have that heavy, greasy feel or look to the hair, because that's crucial. If you have straight hair, you want body, you want movement, you don't want heavy, greasy hair. So it's really important to have a product that is going to allow that. Okay, so you got nice, soft, fluffy hair. Now, before you straighten it, so you have to have the correct deep conditioning, you have to have the correct cleaning, and you have to use only clean hair. You have to know your texture and know the temperature. Then your leave-in products, I mentioned the hair vitamins and the cool down. Then you let that dry with indirect heat. You want one direct heat. Those of you who are out there blow drying with brushes and then turn around and flat iron, making a big mistake, guys. You only need one direct heat. The way you overprocess the hair, which is what heat damage is through chemicals or heat or pressure heat or improper overuse of pressure heat. And if you use a blow dryer, you're causing these products to dissipate, and then you're going to have no protection, and then you're already heating up the hair, and you could be doing some damage. Plus, The hair is at its weakest state when it's wet. If you go in and blow dry the hair, and you're blow drying your hair, and your hair is, I don't know, yeah, do I need those? Okay. When you're blow drying your hair, then you are using this brush and stretching those bonds, then you can cause tears, create poor elasticity. And especially as I travel and I go into salons and I look at what they're using, some salons, especially women who have straight hair, they're using heated tools, they use these round brushes, and they use these wire or metal round brushes. Now, the positive thing, it's no positive, but the reason why they're using it is because it straightens the hair more, and they can actually pull the hair and straighten it. Weird. But the negative, the big negative, is that it tears, puts these microscopic tears. So now when you look at ladies who do that or use wire brushes, round brushes to blow dry the hair, there you see all these little split pieces down their shaft. Those are tears. So it's called chronic split ends. It's a form of short hair syndrome. So no round brushes, one pressure heat. So you sit under a dryer and have a indirect heat. So take a few minutes, or you can take your blow dryer and you can just fan dry it on cool, and then let it dry natural, finish your makeup, finish getting dressed, and then you use that one pressure heat, which is the heated tool. Depending on your texture of your hair, you can have it on for fine hair around 150, on medium hair around 300, 350 max, and on coarse hair 400, 425 max. Okay, that's what you do. And then you are ready. Now, don't repeat that till you shampoo again. If you want to re-straighten the hair, then you shampoo and condition, go through these steps, then you put the heated tool on. Do not put a heated tool on in the next day or so without doing it, okay? All right, heat damage. That's how we prevent it, guys. Heat damage is huge, and heated tools are extremely popular. And I think they'll be really popular for a long time. I think I like my readers on. They'll be popular for a long time. And I think it's really important for us to make sure that we know how to use them. They're not our enemy, they're our friend. Okay, so my hair has been sitting, and remember we talked about how to get a frizzy fro, one of the 15 gorgeous hairstyles. So as your hair is drying, you just kind of fluff it. And the more you fluff it, the cuticle will, while it's wet, while it's still kind of damp, while it's drying, and which is the opposite if you're trying not to have frizz, but you're trying to have a gorgeous frizzy fro. Instead of teasing it, you just fluff it after you got your wet products on. And the two products I used was hair vitamin, and I used my hydration. And I'm fluffing my hair and I did this side earlier, but I did this side a few minutes ago. And I'm fluffing my hair to get in all that moisture so that it will cause the cuticle to sit up, and I can have a frizzy fro. Because that is absolutely one of my favorites. True Sister. True Sister, I love. And there's some true sisters who don't like frizzy fros, but I'm a true sister that loves frizzy fros. Okay, all right, so frizzy fro. Now, so we talked about heat damage. There's something else I want to talk about because, hairline. I have a pretty full hairline, no problem. And I'm consistently watching my hairline. There are a lot of folks who have thin hairlines. Thin hairlines are a big deal. It's really a big deal. And it's a big deal for many women and men and our children. But the big deal, I saw something online that the lady talked about, and I've seen this on commercials. I've seen this on some of these talk shows where people are now covering their hairline with cosmetics like powder. They're using liquids. They're using these things to sprinkle on the hair to cover their hair. Now, when you look at it in a photo, it looks really good. So I get it. It does cover. They're covering the crown. They're covering the hairline. But one video I saw where she was using actually a colored pencil or black eyeshadow, and she was literally brushing it down on her hairline. Now, it looked good. Her hairline looked good, but it's dangerous. So let's talk about the pros and cons. Let's talk about how you can do it safely, because as your trichologist, your hair doctor, that's what I do. I want to make sure that you know the safest way to do these things. Okay, so can you color with the color stick? Can you color with the brush on? Is it dangerous? Here's the pro. The pro is you do cover. It's great coverage. The negative is you are not going to have a free, clean follicle. So here's what happens when you use a mascara, you use these sprinkle on fake hairs. Now those are the coolest because I looked at them under the microscope, and those sprinkle on fake hairs, they look like hair under the microscope. So I mean, that's cool. The problem, and let's go over one at a time. The problem with the brush on or pencil on or mascara, when I microscopically view the scalp, and you know our scalp is skin and skin is porous, I see that literally adhering to the actual epidermis, which is your top skin. The other danger to that is if you have a thinning hairline, it actually makes the problem worse. So now you have a thinning hairline, but these particles, these dark cosmetics are going down into the mouth of the follicle, and it's blocking the mouth of the follicle. So you do it over a period of time. Initially, it doesn't harm it. But a period of time, it'll start to itch, and it'll start to block the mouth of the follicle. So now you have something we call cosmetic pollutants blocking that follicle. You couple that with other things that you do, like if you're already doing a protective style, like you're stretching, you're doing weave, you're doing wigs, you're doing all these things on the hairline to try or to the hair to try to protect your strands, but it's hurting your hairline, causing traction or even friction. Now the lip of the follicle is open. So the lip of the follicle is open. Then you put this dark cosmetic down in there, and then what do you have? Voila. Now you have these pollutants in the lip of the follicle because it's stretched out, it's actually stretching out and going deeper into the follicle. So if that itch and you scratch or rub, then you've got this irritation, inflammation. So it goes from bad to worse, or it just builds up. Even if it doesn't itch, it builds up. So over a period of time, it now blocks the follicle. So you have what we call a cosmetic plug. Under the microscope, I can see cosmetic plugs. So that's a problem. So I would have to give it a thumbs down. The other one is the fake hair that you sprinkle on. It seems great, I know, and it comes in all colors. It just seems great. Well, the problem with the fake hair that you sprinkle on, it's like, what is it called? I don't want to even bash any brand names, but you've seen it on television, guys. Well, when you sprinkle that on, it's it's fiber. It's fiber, but it's like nylon or plastic. And it's dark like your hair or light like your hair. And what happens, the tip of that plastic is small enough because it's supposed to look like hair, and it goes right inside the wall, right in the mouth, the wall of the mouth of the follicle, and it sticks the skin. Over a period of time, those build up around the skin because sometimes when you shampoo in, they do not rinse away. So now you have this product stuck in your scalp. So we're talking about hairline thinning and how you are able to cover it. So there's got to be a safe way. So the best way with hairline thinning, you see me all the time, is to use some type of headband, some type of scarves. If you have white hair, you can use a brush on, but you have to brush it on just like as if I was going to brush on mascara on my hairline. I think I have some of the hairline brush on because, I'm really young, but sometimes I have some of my little white friends that want to visit my hairline, and I have to brush them away as much as I love them. I have to brush them away. So I should have one in I keep one in my makeup bag. Yeah, I have one in my makeup bag. So what I'm going to do is show you, and you can do this brush on, and you can email me, lisa@lisaakbari.com, and you can order them. These are called hair liners, and I recommend these to my patients. And it's just, it's a little gold tip, and it's a little black tube with a gold tip. And it's basically, I just take it, and I brush it on my hairline. I don't lay it on my head and scoop it. I just brush it on my hairline, especially if you have smaller hairs that are white, or if you have smaller hairs that are lacking some color. This gives you a fuller looking hairline, but you don't want to rub it into the scalp. Can you use regular mascara? That's a question that's always asked. You can, but don't use the waterproof, because the waterproof has a wax in it, and it's harder to remove from the hair. I recommend the hair liner, and this is, like I said, it has a gold top here, and you can email me and you can order this from me. It's called the hair liner, and you brush it on, and it gives you a little bit of a darker hairline if you have white hair, and it also gives you a fuller hairline if you have little small hairs that have broken. It makes them look fuller. And this hairline, because it gives it like how you use mascara and it looks thicker lashes, it's like that concept, but you're not getting it in your scalp. You're only on your lashes. Not your lashes, but your hairline. That's what I would have to say. So that's the way you can cover it up. The other big piece is, how did we get there with the hairline? How do we prevent the thinning hairline? I've got to go there with you guys. How do we prevent the thinning hairline? And how do we do something about it if we found ourselves with a thin hairline? How do we treat that problem? What do we do? Can we actually get rid of the thin hairline? The answer is yes, you can. There's a couple of options here. Number one, let's talk about preventing. This protective styles, guys, I'm telling you, you guys have got to make sure that you are not causing friction, which is rubbing, traction, which is pulling on your hairline. And there's just way too much of that. If you cannot get your pinky finger underneath your braid, or your someone was talking about they do micro braids, and micro braids I don't recommend, but if I do recommend them, you got to put them in the body of your head and never on your hairline. Those hairline hairs that are short are not meant to pull into a braid, into a weave, or into anything. Or even when you wear a wig, you're supposed to take your hairline hair, because it's always usually shorter, and mine is pretty long because I have a lot of hairline here, and you smooth it forward, lay it down with vitamin and then moisturizer, and then go on and braid or twist or weave behind the hairline, never on the hairline. Then afterwards, you take the hairline and smooth it into your style after everything is braided, weaved. And then you can, if you're using a wig, you can put a turban, which you can email me, ask me about the wig turbans. It's not something that's on my website, and we will be doing that sometime between now and as we come up to the new year. We will have that on there. We have to, because this is one of my approved tools. And so you'll have, that would be what I would recommend. And it's kind of a nylon fabric, and it actually protects the hairline. So there are ways, and also a satin scarf. You can tie it with a satin scarf to make sure that your hair is, covered, hairline is covered. There's just a lot of ways to protect that hairline. Now, what are the things that I do in my clinic to restore, regrow a hairline? First, I do a microscopic and physical examination. It's called a hair and scalp analysis. You can call my institute at 901-380-4445. And that's 901-380-4445. if you want to come into the Institute for a hair and scalp analysis. But you can do that and you'll have an opportunity. Let me make sure, somebody's got some questions for me. You'll have an opportunity to, to see me, and I can do a microscopic view. What I'm going to look for, I'm going to look to see if you have a follicle still there, if there's scar tissue there, or if there's some type of blockage. Okay, so be sure to be careful with that. If you have those kinds of problems, I will be able to say, okay, all right, this is the problem. This is what I can do to fix the problem. I'm trying to get to my, here we go. Okay, this is what I can do to fix the problem. So once I find the problem, I will offer a diagnosis, even prognosis, because I really want you to know whether or not that I can fix the problem. And let's make sure we get this. Okay. And then I will tell you just how much hair we can regrow. I'm trying to type in my computer. So when I do that, guys, I have to put the computer down. So if you're just tuning in for the very first time, I'm trichologist Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor, and we're here talking about hairline thinning. We're talking about heat damage. We're talking about everything we could talk about relating to your hair. We're also going to talk about split ends, because somebody has a question. Hi, Sylvia Gray. You had a question for me about split ends. I'm getting right to your question in just a second. All right, let's see. Now, okay, so yeah, so when I do that microscopic view, then I'm able to the problem. I will let you know whether you're a good candidate for implants. I guess I could put this back up here. I'll let you know if you're a good candidate for implants. I'll let you know if you're okay. Here we go. If you have got scar tissue there, I'll be able to tell you if there's some blockage there, and this will help. Okay, guys? All right, so just call the Institute 901-380-4445. The other piece is just to reverse these negatives. Stop doing these things. Don't put the color down in your scalp. Only do it on the top hairs. Don't pull the hairline when you are doing your protective styles. Get a pinky finger under there. That's how much you need. And the reason you can't, because when you sleep, you need to be able to move that hairline, because your hairline is attached or anchored to your follicle. You also need to make sure that you're not pulling it just when you're walking around. Yeah. All right, so let's get to our email box, and we have a question. Let's see, where are we? Let's go back. Here we are. Sylvia said, you talked about split ends. Are we to understand single strand knots as a stage or a kind of split end? Single strand knots. And then also doing the greenhouse effect on the hair, does it help to cause split ends? Interesting. Okay, so let's go back, and remember, guys, terminology varies all the time. So when you talk about the greenhouse effect, not everybody know about this whole method. It's like a method supposedly to promote hair growth or hair restore moisture, which is totally two different things. You're promoting hair growth, you're restoring moisture. Promoting hair growth from the scalp. So we would have to do something to stimulate the follicle. Promoting hair moisture is getting the hair softer and more hydrated, which is crucial. So it's like when you put a bag on your head and you put moisturizers or some products on your hair, and it helps with elasticity. I don't believe in it, guys. I'm telling you, this whole thing, and the thing is, how do I say this? One, I think it's very confusing to people who are doing these, looking at YouTube and surfing the net and trying to find these things. Number one, you have to keep in terms, think in terms of your hair strand as a dead keratinized cell, just transformed into a fiber-like, thread-like substance. That's hair, okay? Your goal is to protect and preserve it. Now, hydrating it protects and preserve it. I agree. But you don't want to do things that are going to cause a negative buildup. So when you try and hydrate it, it does not really help. And you have to make sure that you're not trying to hydrate and to help with hair growth. You're hydrating to help with hair length. And what I mean by that is you have to have strands that have already emerged from your scalp. And moisture and protein will help. Not moisture alone. Moisture, and you saw I'm using that to show you how frizzy there it is. It's coming, my frizzy fro. At this point, I'm just like flipping the hair. I'm not really doing anything to tease it, because when you tease it, you're gonna have more problems. You're gonna have a problem with tearing the hair. But anyways, so basically what you're doing is you're trying to get strong, hydrated hair. That's gonna promote length, which is what you want. Because many ladies are suffering from short hair syndrome. They're growing hair as it grows from the scalp. Then as it gets to the shaft, they're breaking it off. So they're breaking it as fast as it emerged from the scalp. In extreme cases of short hair syndrome. Some cases you get to a length and then you feel like it stopped growing. No, it's probably breaking. They have chronic split ends, so and breakage. So what you want to make sure you get deep conditioning, and you want to do deep conditioning. Have to have protein and moisture. One of my conditioners I recommend, my conditioner that I recommend for deep conditioning is called Deep Penetrating Protein, Moisture, and Stabilizing Conditioner. Go to my website, lisaakbari.com, and you'll find it. The other thing is you have to condition every day with protein and moisture. One of my products I recommend, hair vitamin every day on those ends. And then you have to do two things now, especially if you're really trying to promote hair length or getting long hair. After hair vitamin, now it all depends on your hair. Now if you have extremely dry hair, you go to, hydration. But if you don't, if you just have dry hair, you go to Moisture Plus. So how do I know the difference? You say, well, okay, I have extremely dry hair, so my hair is brittle. It doesn't just look dry. It feels like straw. Then you do hydration after your hair vitamin. But then you have to seal it in. And I always recommend my oil sheen jar. Wonderful, love it. Combination of oils. Oops, smells really good. It only needs a small amount. And you seal. Put it on your ends with your forefinger and thumb. Or on these little short hairs that are not any longer, forefinger and thumb. No rubbing it like this. Just slide straight down. Wonderful. Okay. And that's what you have to do. And that's daily. So you get some protein and moisture in your hair vitamin daily. And then you're getting the hydration from your Moisture Plus or from your hydration. And then you're going to seal it with your oil sheen and jar. These are all on my website. These are my product. You know how I feel, ladies. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if you got products that are clean, that are very friendly, that won't cause a waxy buildup, then you can use yours. Now, you said something about split ends. I think let's go back to your question. You talked about the greenhouse effect, and does it cause split ends? No, I don't think it wouldn't cause split ends. It's just not going to basically work to help you get longer hair, and it's not necessarily going to work to get rid of the split ends, because split ends are just split ends. Let's go right into that as we end the show. Oh my goodness, I think we're out of time. Let's quickly say this and we'll talk about split ends next show. But right now, split ends, basically, this is what happens. When you have split ends, you are at the point where your ends are growing out, they're peeling back, and they're going into the healthier hair. To prevent split ends, you do what I just mentioned. You hydrate and you seal, and that's daily. You find your ends. Don't do like this. This is what most people do. You find your ends. You put your product on the ends. You smooth down with your forefinger and thumb. And that's what you do. We're going to pick up split ends again next week, guys. And you guys got to remind me. Hope that helps Sylvia. Listen, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you just tuned in and you missed part of the show, remember I'm here each and every week. I'm going to end with my frizzy fro. I'm here each and every week right here on Ask the Hair Doctor. And I'm always tuning in, guys. Let's get this up a little higher so you can see my frizzy fro. There we go. I'm always tuned in, and I'm stepping back so you can see how large my fro can get and frizzy. And make sure you're not teasing your hair, just fluffing right here on Ask the Hair Doctor. Thank you, guys. I love you. To God be the glory. And Jesus, have a wonderful, blessed morning, evening, or afternoon. Here I am with my frizzy fro. Love you guys. Love you, love you, love you. All right.